Hi, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Jennifer Mele, an independent consultant with Pampered Chef. Welcome to my kitchen. So I'm making a chicken in the rotisserie in my Deluxe Air Fryer, and I know for myself I have struggled and still continue to be a little uncomfortable with how to truss a chicken in order to use it in the air fryer. So I thought I would welcome you in here so you can see me kind of bumble through it a little bit. I have researched online how to do it. I've also read about it. It's in our recipe book, but there's just nothing like seeing it, so I thought this might help you too. So this is the recipe book that comes with our Deluxe Air Fryer, and on page 10 there's a whole page, I don't know if you can see it, about the rotisserie, and it will go in on like how to tie it and the times and the step-by-step directions. And then if you look on page 28, there is a recipe with a Peruvian chicken with the green sauce. I'm not gonna make the green sauce myself today, but feel free, whatever works for you. But I did notice a discrepancy in the time, so I'm gonna start with 45 minutes because I'd rather put it in for longer if I need to. As long as it reaches 165 degrees, you're good to go. So, internal with like an instant read thermometer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it for 45 minutes in the rotisserie. If it needs more time, I can add more time. You can't take it away, so I don't want it to be all dry and gross. So let's get started. There are some things that come with your Deluxe Air Fryer. This right here is the spit, and you'll notice it has square little pieces. And those are the parts that are going to actually latch inside. These here are the forks, and it comes with turning screws, and that's what's going to anchor the chicken to the spit so it doesn't flop around. The big thing about tying the chicken before you do it is to make sure that it doesn't flop around, and one, it won't spin as well because it's going to be obstructed by the rest of the air fryer, and two, it's going to make a big old mess. So let's do this. We have cooking twine. Cooking twine is not the same as string. You can find it in your grocery store. You can find it online. I always keep some on hand. I have a special little holder for mine. But honestly, Mom Mele, she uses a coffee mug, so whatever works for you. I just happened to find this one day when I was out and about having retail therapy. So that is how I keep my string, but a coffee cup works just as well. I did already rinse and pat my chicken dry. It has to be about 3 to 4 pounds. Any more than 4 pounds is too heavy for the rotisserie. You'd have to find a different way to cook it. So 4 pounds is perfect. Mine's 3.72, so I'm right in the middle. So first I'm going to take my spit. I've patted it dry. I also put it uncovered in the refrigerator for a little while to allow the skin to dry out a little bit. That's gonna give it a crispier skin. So what I'm gonna do, get a little up and personal here. I've already removed like the internal organs, and I don't care to eat those myself, but I don't like anything to go to waste, so I just popped them in a freezer bag, and I will save them for when I'm making stock someday. So I have the spit inside. I'm going to turn my plate, you see? And I've seen this done a bunch of ways, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to show you how I do it, because honestly, some of the ones that I've seen, they make it so complicated. And I'm like, dude, it looked like a mummy by the time I was done wrapping that, so I was like, forget about it. There's an easier way to do it. So I took about 12 inches. That's what the directions say. If it doesn't, I'm grateful that I have extra twine just in case. But I just wrapped it around my seat once, or my leg once, you see here? I wrap it around, and then I'm gonna wrap this one around. You gotta pull it tight together, because you're basically wanting to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. It's not always graceful. So I'm just gonna keep wrapping it until I feel like it's a good tight taut. I'm gonna tie it. Not even gonna worry about a bow. As long as it stays, I don't care how it looks. We're not fancy in my house. These are my kitchen shears. Pampered Chef sells them too. One of the reasons why I like them, they come apart. So if I get any chicken goobers inside of them, I can feel confident that I'm cleaning them carefully. So I just tied my legs together. Not sure, but I think I want it to go on the other side. Maybe. We'll see. Let me get the wings done. So your wings are going to flap all around. So I took 24 inches of more cooking twine. Putting it underneath. So basically I'm trying to make sure that my cooking twine is trapping the wings to the body. So I'm just gonna wrap it around. Do you see how I did that? So it's like me going into, there was this store when I grew up that had like all the breakables. It was Wilson's in Greenfield. And they had all the breakable stuff up on the second floor. And whenever I went in there, my arms just instantly went to the sides of my body because I was so afraid of breaking something. The little old ladies would look at you like you were going to steal their silver. So you want to basically do that to your chicken. Make sure his arms are tucked close to his side. So I just basically wrapped it around each wing. I can even, once I get it tied, let's see how this goes. In theory, you can bend the wing backwards. See how that works. Basically want to just tuck it in. Or, these scissors are so powerful, I don't even want to mess with those wings. So I'm just going to break the wings off. These are just the tips, you know, they don't have any meat on them. There's really no purpose to them besides the bird itself. But he's not gonna need them anymore, so I'm just going to put that aside. Ha, look at that. Problem solved. And again, I can pop those in the freezer, stick it in my stock pot. I love how powerful these scissors are. They cut right through the cartilage. I try to get to the bone, but there we go. So I just took off the little wing tips. Then I don't have to worry about where they go. Ha! So let's start over. Told you this wasn't gonna be smooth, but hey, as long as dinner's on the table, it's all good. So I have it underneath the chicken, and then I'm just going to wrap it around the wings. I'm just going to anchor the wings. Here we go. See how I did that? There's no really rhyme or reason to it. Your objective is just to make sure that nothing moves while it's turning. Just tie it. Could have tied that better. Yeah, we'll hope for the best. Cut off the extra. Okay, so my wings tight, my legs are tight. I could probably even make them a little tighter. I'm gonna take a little more, just in case. I don't like the way that those legs, I'm up here by the upper thigh. Can you see that? Where the drumstick ends? That's the part that keeps kind of like, so I'm just gonna tie that a little tighter. There we go. That'll work much better. Okay, so always have extra on hand. It works. So right now, trussed up pretty good. Got them all tied up there. You see them? They like dancing. So, thinking to myself, it says here, yeah, putting it through. So when I put on the forks, they have a tightening screw. So I know that if I were to look at this, you can tell which one's the back. There's his tail. So you want to make sure that on the top part, when it's going through, I'm going to flip it over because you see how the that goes up like that. I'm going to turn it the other way so that way the actual tines of the fork go into the meatier part. There we go. And I bet you if I were to do this more often, I think this is maybe the second or third time that I've done this. If I were to do it more often, it would be way easier and smoother. But there's just not enough days in the week to make all my recipes that I want to try. So I'll come back to it. I'm just going to keep turning it until it goes through. Maybe it would help if I undo the screw, tightening screw. There we go. So I make sure that the fork is in the meaty part. I loosen it so it can go all the way through. I want the rod, there's like a little divot. That's what I'm trying to do. There we go. Try to make sure it's equal. Okay, and then I can tighten it in place. There we go. Turn it around. Do the hokey pokey. And the other fork. Let's see, I'm looking for the meaty part. So, I'm gonna use, I'm so afraid of busting my nice little, I put it on the counter. I don't want to bust my glass because of the metal rod. I'm gonna turn this so that way again it's in the meaty part. Undo the screw. Man, I could never be on those cooking shows where they time you and say, okay, on your mark, get set, go. I would completely lose my mind. You just gotta work through it. Think time. So. Getting the tail out of the way. You see how I just pushed that out of the way? Because again, the whole point of this is to get that fork into the meaty part. Loosening the tightening screw, trying to get it so the rod is square inside because the tightening rod is square and the fork is square. Damn it. Push. It's hanging up. So, and this is good for you to see too, because no matter how much you know about cooking, it's always a work in progress. So, this fork is not wanting to go in. Seriously? Trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. Tightening screw came out. That might help. There we go. Basically, there is a little lip. I don't know if you can see that, but that is what your retrieval tool is going to be hooking on. So you want to make sure that is all the way through. So I'm just going to keep pushing this until the fork is inside the meaty part. I'm going to put my tightening screw back in. Okay. So I look and it's balanced, And that worked me a little bit. The last time I did it, I don't remember being that much of a pain in the patootie, but it's gonna happen. So if it happens to me and it happens to you, at least you know you're not alone. It will get easier with practice, but again, I don't do this very often. You have to keep the chicken under 4 pounds, like I said. They are hard to find. This was a Springer Farms because my other Publix ones were too big. So I chose this one because it was just the right size. You can also do Cornish game hens on that. So I have my chicken. This is 1 tablespoon of avocado oil. I chose the avocado oil because I've mentioned before it has a higher temp. It has its higher smoke rate. So my hands are already goobered from the chicken, so I was gonna brush it on nice and pretty. It's just me and Steve. Here we go. There. Man, it's gonna be slippery like a greased pig. Okay, so this here is Umami Powder. You can use whatever seasonings work for you. This happens to have like dried porcini mushrooms and salt and a bunch of other herbs and stuff, so I'm just going to use this one and done. I hope you had a great day today. I don't know about where you live, but where I live, it was absolutely gorgeous out. Didn't really go outside much, except for to take out the trash. I was like, I should go for a walk, and that didn't happen. But that's okay, there's always tomorrow. I had a new book, and I couldn't put it down, so that's what I did. Well, besides making a big mess in my kitchen, I made the what's it called, the Mediterranean lentil salad that I'd posted a few days ago. So that was new for me. I've never made lentils before, so I bungled it the first time because I tried to do it in the quick cooker, then I followed the directions and did it on the stovetop, and it worked out a little better. Not quite as soft. Okay, that's it. Let me wash my hands and then I will show you how to put it in. Okay, so let me double check to make sure I did it all. Pretty much it. So I'm gonna plug in my air fryer. I always, the directions, if you use, read your use and care. Don't ever use like a power strip or something. Some people get really concerned because they have to keep unplugging it. There isn't really an off button for your air fryer. You're just supposed to unplug it. That's important because, one, it draws enough electricity where you just only use this and nothing else on the same breaker at the time, and unplug it when you're finished and you'll be good to go. So you don't want to avoid your warranty. So inside I have my drip tray, and on the top this is the tray that will protect the fan and the heating element, just in case. This is my retrieval tool, and there is a hook. So just double check it one more time to make sure. One of the pieces of string fell off and I'm starting to wonder why, but looks like we're good to go. Maybe. Do you see how the legs are falling off there? I'm starting to wonder if I should have put, I don't know if that's gonna be a problem. Maybe we could make that fixed. So I'm just going to take that piece of twine that fell off from I'm not sure where, and I'm just going to attach it so that way it just pulls it all together. Do you see the difference now? Because the way that the heaviness of the weight where the breasts are of the chicken is heavier than the back of the chicken. So I want to make sure that everything is anchored. So if it takes another piece of string, so be it. So our air fryer does not need preheating. There it is. And my retrieval tool, I'm putting it in those, remember those little bumps that were working me earlier? Now you're going to notice that these tabs are square. So if it doesn't fit in right away, you just got to turn it a little bit until it pops in the way it's supposed to. Always start with your left in first and then your right, because your right side of your air fryer is more of a hook than a hole. Whew, that went smooth. Look at that. Thank you. Okay, so it's looking good. So I'm going to close the door. Ta-da. And I'm going to switch it to air fry. It said 45 minutes, rotisserie. So that would be here. So I keep turning it. There's air fry, bake, roast, rotisserie, and reheat. I'm doing rotisserie. I push it one time, because that's like your way of saying okay, select. And then the time beep, or blinks. So I'm going to go down to, what was it, 45 minutes? Yeah, because on one page it says 60 to 65 minutes. I don't want to overcook it. So again, I'm going to go by the internal temperature of the chicken. I will check it after 45 minutes because the Peruvian chicken recipe says 45 minutes. So that's what I'm going to go with. You can always add more. Rotisserie is still at 400 degrees, just like air fry. The difference being the rotating button. So I push OK. Push this the turning power button one more time, and it starts. I can tell the rotate is working not only because I can see it with the light on. Ooh, magic. But also because of those circle arrows. So that means rotate, and then that little fire sign means it's heating. The light is on, I'm going to turn it off. The fan is on, that's what circulates the air and is what makes it so delightful. So that is going to just do its magic. I always pull it away from the counter, or the, what's that called? Cupboard. Because you don't want the air to circulate, needs plenty of air in the back, all sorts of space. So I just pull it out towards the edge and I'm good to go. So while that is doing, my side dish is going to be the lentil salad, and that's served cold. I've already made it. I had a couple of zucchinis, and I saw a recipe that I'll be posting on Sunday about Hasselback zucchini, which I'd heard of Hasselback for potatoes, but you can actually do it with your zucchini. So just to try it, I have these toothpicks. You want to cut off the ends. Those aside, and then the toothpicks are going to help keep it from cutting all the way through. So the point is to basically just cut it about 1/4 inch all the way down, and then I will coat it with oil when this is finished. The 2 zucchinis will go here, and then I'll cook it for 10 minutes, and then I will add maybe some, I'll use fontanella cheese probably, but you can use whatever cheese you like. Steve just happens to prefer fontanella, and so then you put it back in for 4 minutes. So olive oil and seasonings, or whatever oil you like, and then you put on your cheese and spices, maybe some bacon bits, because everything is better with bacon, and we're good to go. So I'm going to try this. Oh, see? I have to be so careful. So I have the toothpicks, but they're not thick enough. So I'm going to have to think of something different. So I need like a bumper, or maybe I could just eyeball it and just stop being a bonehead. Don't cut it all the way through. So about 1/4 inch and stop. Here we go. Steve loves zucchini. So my idea is to make enough for dinner, but also so he can take it with him to lunches for work. So you'll see here, it can kind of separate when it's not sticking together, but it doesn't go all the way through. And so I'm just gonna prep that so when the chicken is finished in 42 minutes, I can just pop in the zucchini because that has to rest for 20 minutes anyways. And there's our dinner. So I hope you're having a great day, and I appreciate you joining me. And if you need anything, let me know. I'll post this video to my YouTube channel with my others. I like to see things in action myself, so I figured somebody else might find those videos helpful too. So you'll find a whole bunch of different videos for me cooking using my tools. But if you haven't seen something yet that you'd like to, let me know, and I would be glad to try it. Thanks so much, and keep in touch. Bye.